They say you're supposed to start a video with a really interesting shot. I maybe didn't do that, but that's where my camera was resting, and it made sense to start with my ridiculously swollen knee. It's way different than the other one, and has been for a couple of years. But mostly, I think if I was in the U.S. and in the medical system, like most people are, I'd have been told a long time ago. 2 years ago, I've been told you got to have a replacement. And who knows, someday I might, but if I'm not pushing it too much, it does pretty good. It does pretty good. I'm mobile. I'm limping a lot right now because I did push it way too much the other day. But it's not hurting today as much as it has been the last 2 days. And when I came out of the OXXO store down there, I wanted to have a cigarette and my Coke, and I was looking for the right place to sit down. And I said no to this place and no to that place, and I don't think there's enough of a breeze here. And up here, there's a nice view, very open. The breeze is moving nice, and this was just a pretty good height for me. I won't have any trouble getting up. And all along I was going, yeah, I think I'll keep moving because I can, because I have legs that work. And not even really hurting today, and I'm not in a hurry at all. Not in a hurry at all. My time is mine. And I got to thinking about freedom. I've been swimming the last, 5 mornings at the beach, and realized, shoot, this is a bay. This is such calm water. It is the Gulf of Mexico, but it's a bay. And there's no chop really at all, unless it's an unusual wind. They do get big wind events in Veracruz, but not in the last couple of weeks. And it's wonderful. So it's the best. It is the best ocean swimming I've had yet. Corpus Christi Bay would be like this early, but it was much more of an open bay, and it would develop a chop as the day went on. So this is the best swimming I have found in Mexico. And I came to Mexico because I want to be in the water swimming, because I go back to God like no place else. So I've been swimming every morning and pushed it too much the first couple of days. Swam way out by the lighthouse and stopped just shy of the shipping channel where the big freighters come through. And then the second day I swam along the shore, but all the way down by the Hotel Mari Tierra where I could wave to people, and I got in trouble for swimming down there. So the last couple of days I've just been bobbing around, and I'm doing it right now, because when I spend 40, 60 minutes just bobbing around in that water, I'm floating the rest of the day. It changes my whole consciousness. And as I'm bobbing around there, all stress lifts away from me. My mind gets completely quiet, and I've even been doing stretches, releasing as I'm floating around in the water. And this morning when I was paddling back in, a guy a little younger than me who had been swimming earnestly inside the buoys, and I've not in 5 days seen anybody else, one person, go outside the buoys. And he tried to lecture me about why I really should stay inside the buoys. And I tried to stay respectful to him. I didn't totally manage. At one point I said, so what? I don't care about that. But it got me thinking, like, how... The first thought was, yeah, there are people who will do that, who will stay inside the buoys even though there's not a lifeguard and there's not dangerous boats out there, because you're supposed to. And then I realized, no, not. There are people who do that. Almost everybody behaves that way. They do what they've been told. And I said to him, it's más tranquilo, it's more peaceful, it's más divertido, it's a lot more fun out there. And he kind of shook his head and said, oh, okay. He called me Jefe, that was, his term of respect, but he wanted me to behave. He wanted me to behave like everybody else behaves. And I just don't do that. And I've been radically that way for 4 years since I had the experience that I call waking up. And in the first year, I thought a lot back to Richard Bach's second book, the guy who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. His second book is called Confessions. Confessions of a Reluctant Messiah. And after I had already had my experience of waking up, where everything got so much easier and I got so much freer, I was thinking about that book and I thought, he woke up, hadn't he? There's all kinds of people out here who won't say, but he did call himself a reluctant Messiah. And there's the central metaphor, a story where the little sea anemones are clinging hard to the rocks at the bottom of the rushing stream. And finally this one little sea anemone, river creature, whatever, just doesn't want to hold on anymore, and he lets go. And he floats up above. He doesn't get smashed by the other rocks. He floats up above. And as he's floating high over the other creatures at the bottom of the river, they're going, he's a god. Look, he's a god. And he's saying, no, I'm just like you. If you let go, you could all do this. So I think about that. The kind of freedom I have in the world is radically different than almost, not everybody. There's a lot more people like me out there than, they're not all famous like Eckhart Tolle, but there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us, and it's what is our birthright. It's what is meant to happen to all of us. And by God, when I get out to Cozumel, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and get people back in the water, my Being in the Water with Majo project, and do whatever I can to help other people know what it could be like, to know what it could be like, what it can be like, what it is like. Yeah.